lot of different considerations that people are making in a number of different areas of their life, including their education and their kids' education as well. And to make sound decisions on that front as the world around us continues to change, it's sometimes best to consult with experts in the field who have a number of years of experience helping people make these key decisions. People like Barbara Connally joining us now on the Oakland County Megacast from College Choice Counseling. Barbara, thank you for being with us on the show today.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to meet you, Tyler.
Nice to meet you as well, Barbara. So for those that are not familiar with your company, what do you do over at College Choice Counseling?
At College Choice Counseling, we consult with families about choosing education, as you were just talking about, choosing the right elementary, high school, and particularly choosing the right college. We help students apply to college. We also have a staff of tutors who help people get the best grades they possibly can throughout elementary, middle, and high school.
And as we've gone through the COVID-19 pandemic, people, of course, have continued to pursue their education. They have continued to finish their elementary, middle, and high school education and then move on, in some cases, to higher education. But there are a lot of new considerations to be made and that people are making. How have you seen the approach to college choice from parents and from students change as we've gone through the pandemic, and their approach to education may be different?
Well, certainly as we moved through the pandemic, we did see families looking more closely at the cost of college because they were concerned about the value. If it was going to be an online college, they were concerned that there wouldn't be the same value as an in-person college. We've also seen parents in particular looking at colleges closer to home, but also students. They felt more comfortable being close to home with the college they selected, even if they were going to be online. They wanted some opportunity to have some in-person experiences. So that's one change. On the flip side, there were some students that considered faraway colleges, knowing they wouldn't have to travel to a faraway college to attend. So it's really opened up possibilities and changed the outlook for families.
With the availability now, the greater availability now, as you mentioned, with colleges that may be a distance away and that may not be in that person's state, maybe several states away or across the country, but have those virtual opportunities available. Does that affect the admissions process and make that maybe a little bit more complicated for these students?
Yes, I think it's made it more difficult to predict who will be admitted to which college, because colleges have the opportunity to find students they previously could not even hope to see applications from. But they're seeing very unique applications from very unique pools of students, even minorities who are underrepresented or people who may not have the means are applying to exceptional colleges. And colleges are eager to see these applications from very new types of students, meaning the traditional students that that college would admit are a bit sidelined by these exciting new students appearing in the batch of applications.
We're joined by Barbara Connally on the Oakland County Megacast. She's from College Choice Counseling, talking to us about the changing admissions processes and the new considerations to be made as a result of what we've experienced over the last year and a half plus with the COVID-19 pandemic. And as we went through the pandemic, Barbara, a lot of these colleges and universities decided to forego their previous requirements on standardized test scores, whether it be the ACT, the SAT, and so on and so forth. Do you imagine that as we're coming out of the pandemic, as we're going into more quote-unquote normal education in our high schools and our middle schools and so on and so forth, that we're going to see these colleges continue to forego those requirements, or will they go back to them? And if they do, how much are those going to be weighed in their decisions on whether or not to admit students?
Perfectly framed question. The tests were never really abandoned by most colleges. The tests were considered optional all of a sudden, whereas before they were requirements. But everyone wonders, did optional really mean optional? Were you treated equally if you did not submit a score or if you opted to submit a score? So that remains an open question. I think that colleges are going to continue to have optional testing rather than test-free predicaments. So how much will they be weighed less? They will be weighed less in the future. Now, just to organize this, the California schools have said it's not legal to consider test scores, so no options. That's very fair. We know that every candidate will be considered without a score. But once a school says it's an option, we just don't know how fair it is that some people are submitting scores and some are not. But no matter what, all of these schools are looking askance at these tests and questioning their value. So they're given less weight, and students should be less panicked about getting the perfect score.
We're joined by Barbara Connally on the Oakland County MegaCast. She is with College Choice Counseling, is a Birmingham-based certified education planner, joining us on the show today. And so as kids are filling out those applications here in the fall in anticipation for admission into college, whether it be the next year over or the year after that if they're a junior in high school, as they're preparing for those applications and they're writing those essays and they're considering their life experiences in answering those essays and trying to put their best foot forward, knowing that nobody's life experiences should ever be discounted and are each important on the individual basis, it's still very competitive, and it's going to continue to be very competitive to get into these colleges. What considerations should students be making now as we come out of the pandemic slowly but surely and they're filling out these applications to put their best foot forward?
So they should consider their activities in high school before the pandemic and throughout the pandemic. You are what you do, and so present those activities in the college application. There's actually a space for that in the college application, but be detailed. Don't simply say that you helped care for your grandparents. Be detailed about the exact care you provided. It's much more impactful. And then again, look at those activities and mine those activities for a subject for your essay. And when you write your essay, remember the main essay is a personal statement. It has to be about you personally, not about what you did for your grandparents so much as what you were thinking, how you were feeling when you cared for your grandparents, or how you think about any particular subject. With the personal statement, the college would really like to get into your mind. And has anything changed since the pandemic? Yes. The activities you engaged in will look much more like caring for your grandparents than playing soccer, because last year you couldn't play soccer. So that's changed. But the application to college process has really not changed. The college wants to get to know you personally and wants to see details about what you've been doing during high school so they can really understand what you will bring to their college.
Barbara Connally joins us on the Oakland County MegaCast, and she is with College Choice Counseling, talking about the different approaches now as a result of what we've experienced with COVID-19 and continue to experience as this pandemic continues, and how those considerations impact kids' efforts into getting into these colleges. And throughout the pandemic, as a result of job loss, as a result of job reduction, wage reduction, whatever the case may be, we've seen for a lot of these families, money is a lot tighter than it used to be before, but college is no less expensive now than it was before the pandemic. Is that impacting how many people are applying for college, or considerations that they're making in terms of approaching financial aid and what is available to them through these universities and these colleges?
Well, yes. When you talk about the economic damage that was done to families throughout the pandemic, it certainly has made people much more interested in considering the price of college even before applying to a college, even before they are accepted, and certainly afterwards. They're carefully reviewing the financial aid packages. But colleges do have funds. They are making college affordable, so everyone should apply as widely as they want and seek out a financial aid package before deciding not to include that college in their list. But it's had an impact. Families are much more financially conscious, but colleges have been more generous. So much has changed and much has stayed the same.
Barbara Connally with us on the Oakland County MegaCast. She is a Birmingham-based certified education planner with College Choice Counseling with us on the show today. And Barbara, just about 5 minutes or so left today. We want to talk about, you recently published an entire book on college admission advice, which is available on outlets such as Amazon. Just for those that are tuning in and want to get the basic synopsis of this book, because maybe it may be helpful to themselves, their families, their kids, or someone that they know. What can people expect when they do read your book to get out of it? And of course, what's the book called and how can they obtain it?
So the book is called College Admission Success, Getting into College Under Any Circumstances. And you can imagine we've been talking about the circumstances that we have to move through to get into college today. I wrote it during the pandemic. So naturally I was concerned with any circumstances. And what they can expect to learn is how to gain admission to college, how to get into college, and how to get the best possible outcome by improving what they do before they apply, what they do in school in terms of earning great grades, what they do in their activities in their life that will impress a college. They will learn that character matters, what they should put in their essays. They will learn how to show interest in a college, all of these things that impact their college admissions. So fundamentally, even under these harsh circumstances that are still existing today, they will learn how to apply and how to get into college from my book. And it is available on Amazon.
Barbara Connally with us on the Oakland County MegaCast. She is from College Choice Counseling. And Barbara, in terms of the timing of these applications, of course there are limitations on them. There are due dates. There are deadlines for the applications, for essays, for so on and so forth. That's involved with the process. When should kids start applying for college in order to put themselves in the best position possible to not only get admitted, but maybe also have those scholarship opportunities early on and be able to make a choice in a timely manner, or at the very least, have the time available to them to go through a number of their choices and make the best decision for themselves and their education?
So there are two parts to your question. When should they apply? As early as possible. And for schools like the University of Michigan or Michigan State that are so popular here, you can apply in early September. The application for early action at those schools is not due until November 1st, but the earlier, the better. However, Ryan, the second part of your question is they want to make time for themselves to consider all their options. They may not have more time. These schools don't have obligations usually to provide a complete answer to your application, a complete response. If you apply early to either of those schools, you will get some early response and possibly an early resolution of your financial aid package, but you can't count on having all that resolved very quickly at the same time as your admission. But usually there is an initial award offered to you when you get early action from those schools. And last year, the University of Michigan kept moving the goalpost on early action, but both of those schools should give you a decision by mid-January if you apply before the November 1st deadline.
We're joined by Barbara Connally on the Oakland County MegaCast. She is a Birmingham-based certified education planner with College Choice Counseling. And Barbara, just another couple minutes with you today before we have to say goodbye. Is there any other important information for families and for kids, especially as they're preparing to apply for college and they're considering college as their path forward to pursue a career, pursue higher education, that would be important for them to know today?
Well, I certainly think that they should know that the main thing is the process. People say, well, why should I be so interested in the process of applying? Just remember, the process involves being interested in school, being interested in college. Do your best in school. Be interested in your classes. Don't worry about having some particular passion. Just have a general interest in getting a great education. That is the best way to pursue higher education. And I would like to add, if I could, that my team at College Choice Counseling is actually putting on a program in Birmingham for the benefit of the Birmingham Community House on August 19th. And if people want to learn more about applying to college, we're going to share some insights there, Ryan, Tyler.
We're joined by Barbara Connally on the Oakland County MegaCast from College Choice Counseling. Barbara, thank you very much for joining us on today's edition of the Oakland County MegaCast.
Thank you, Tyler. It was my privilege.